One man was gonna get buried tonight. Was it gonna be Prince Puma? Or was it going to be Mil Muertes? Graver consequences. Tonight on Lucha Underground plus your NXT review for November 9th, 2016. Let's talk about it. You know, when you think back in 2016 to what was really memorable in the world of professional wrestling, with what we've been presented with this year, you're not going to remember a lot, man. You're really not, and that's the God-honest truth. I'm sitting here, and I'm a long-time, die-hard WWE guy, and I can sit here and tell you with a straight face, I don't remember a fucking goddamn thing about anything on Monday Night Raw. That's how zoned out I am about that show and that part of the product right now. SmackDown's a little bit easier to digest, man. We got Ambrose, we got Styles, we had Cena mixed in there. You know, Ambrose has been putting on great main events with AJ Styles, primarily with who he's working with. You know, rope to rope, turnbuckle to turnbuckle, bell to bell. AJ Styles might be the best in the world right now, period. So that's why Dean Ambrose has been given great matches because of who he's been working with. So I remember a little bit more than I do on SmackDown compared to Monday Night Raw. But in the landscape of wrestling in the United States, I'm not a big TNA guy. Matt Hardy's doing his thing. I absolutely fucking love him. Doing his thing. Best gimmick in all of wrestling right now. The hottest wrestler in the world, thanks to what he's done to revitalize his career. I don't watch Ring of Honor. I was never a big Ring of Honor guy. You know, I don't watch New Japan. I'm not subscribed to New Japan World at all. So, I don't watch Evolve. I don't watch anything outside of WWE, and this year is my first year diving into Lucha Underground. So, starting off with Lucha Underground Season 3, and I'm 10 episodes in, and I'm seeing my first Grave Consequences match. My hype for Lucha Underground right now is at an all-time high. It's nearing that NXT level late last year, when Balor was there, and Bayley was there, and we had everything just fucking flowing on all cylinders with NXT. NXT was the hottest brand in professional wrestling, you know, thanks to whatever they were doing. They were Balor, Joe, Bayley, The Revival, American Alpha, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. Everything was just flowing, man. Asuka. Everything was just great. Lucha Underground is at that level right now, man. We had Grave Consequences tonight with Mil Muertes and Prince Puma. We got Aztec Warfare next week. Gonna be fucking off the chain. I can't wait, man. This is what I want from a professional wrestling organization, man. I want you to keep me coming back for more. I don't want to turn on your program and feel like I need to fall asleep. This is what I want. Lucha Underground is keeping me coming back for more. And that's all I can ask from a company in 2016. That's all I want. Why is that so difficult for other companies to grasp? I don't know. So, a nice little golf clap for Chris DeJoseph and everybody over at Lucha Underground Creative, getting me invested in storylines, getting everybody invested in storylines, and just putting on a great product with great presentation, fucking a crowd that's more rowdy than anything I've ever seen since the early days of ECW, man. Everything about Lucha Underground right now is unbelievable, and they got me fucking hyped. I can't wait for next week, man. Aztec Warfare. Going into this week, I couldn't wait for Lucha Underground. Mil Muertes and Prince Puma, man. This was my first Grave Consequences match, and they did not disappoint. Grave Consequences, if you're not familiar with the series or with the promotion, it is their version of a casket match. Now, when you think casket matches, you got to think back to what we see in WWE. They're not the most dangerous match that is presented in WWE. In fact, you got to date back to 1998 if you want to really go back and find the last casket match that a lot of us were truly invested in. That was Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at the 1998 Royal Rumble. Before that, it was the 1994 Royal Rumble with The Undertaker and Yokozuna for the WWF Championship. Remember that match? I remember it like it was fucking yesterday, man. I'm 34 years old, and I remember that fucking move for move, sequence for sequence. All I remember in that match, vividly, Mr. Fuji, showing you why, rest in peace, showing you why he was the greatest manager, or one of the greatest managers in all of WWE history, man. When we were little kids and we were watching that match, we didn't think that Mr. Fuji was going to summon Jeff Jarrett, Diesel, Bam Bam Bigelow, Kabuki, the Head Shrinkers, Crush. Everybody just fucking had their turn with The Undertaker, and The Undertaker kept fighting back. Undertaker kept fighting back. Paul Bearer kept trying to raise The Undertaker up with the urn. They eventually took the urn. They unscrewed the urn with fucking green mist coming out of it. The Undertaker was fucking lifeless. He was dead. They eventually buried The Undertaker, and the next thing we see, The Undertaker's floating up into the sky, only to be seen at SummerSlam that year in 1994, recovering from whatever injuries that he had. He went on sabbatical. He went one-on-one with Ted DiBiase's Undertaker, found by Leslie Nielsen, the real Undertaker. That's the last casket matches that I recall that I had a true investment in. Before that, it was 1992, Kamala at the Survivor Series. So each one involved The Undertaker, and I'm sure WWE had more casket matches after that, but none of them we really cared about. There was Bryan versus Kane. There was The Undertaker versus the Ortons, his father, and Randy Orton. You know, we had a few other ones mixed in between that, but nothing that was really over the top. I have to pay attention to this. I got to invest my time in. Tonight, I was looking forward to this because I knew what they were going to bring to the table, man. I'm not really all too familiar. I am a little bit here and there. I'm starting to piece the puzzle together. But I knew what exactly was going to happen tonight with a Lucha Underground version of a casket match. And they did not disappoint, man. Right from the opening sequence, you seen Mil Muertes come out at the top of the staircase at the temple, Katrina standing next to him, and I had my head in my phone, man. All of a sudden, I hear Matt Striker going fucking crazy. Prince Puma comes out and super kicks Muertes' head off, knocks him into the crowd, and he dives headfirst into the crowd. Crowd is going absolutely fucking crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to tweet you guys about grave consequences, and I'm like, I'm going to put my phone down right now, and I'm not going to touch it, because if I do, I'm going to miss something very important here. This was a great fucking match, and one of those main events that you're going to remember in all of 2016. And I got to tip my cap to Chris DeJoseph and everybody over at Lucha Underground, man. They are doing a phenomenal job. Shame on me for not getting into you guys earlier and really diving into all these storylines and, you know, being better affiliated and better acquainted, you know, with the product. It was just great to see tonight. The crowd was fucking awesome, and if they're gonna continue putting on shows like this, I wish a lot of you guys had the opportunity to see what they're doing, man, because they're doing great things. Storylines are great. The fucking atmosphere is great. The commentary is great. The presentation is great. You know, everybody involved in making that show 1 hour of can't miss wrestling is fucking great. So, I mean, golf clap to them, man. I'm just loving Lucha Underground right now. I really am. But grave consequences. I can't even talk about it, man, because what they did tonight, it was all over the place. If you want fucking two men beating the holy shit out of each other, you got to go out and watch this match. If you can find it on, I'm sure El Rey is going to post it on their YouTube channel. You're going to have to watch the highlights, man. I'm not going to do this match any justice whatsoever. Right out of the fucking gate, we got Puma knocking Muertes into the crowd. Knocks him into the audience. Leaps off the top of the stairs. Right onto Mil Muertes. Puma, then it's a super kick on Mil. Tries to leap towards Muertes again. This time, Mil catches him and slams Puma to the ringside floor. Then, pretty much from there, Muertes takes over the match. He throws Puma through a fucking door that sounded like a fucking goddamn explosion. There was a camera shot panned on some big dude in the audience. He was looking into the fucking crowd and then looked into the camera with his jaw wide open. Jesus fucking Christ. Puma went flying through this door, which was behind Striker and Vampiro. Don't know where it went, but it was great to see. So that's all that was used for. Mil Muertes then picked up Puma, threw him right by the ringside area again. And again, he starts taking over the match. Puma starts fighting back, rams Mil Muertes' head into a table, starts grabbing wreaths that are around the ringside area. Matt Striker was saying those aren't any ordinary wreaths. They got thorns on them, so he started slamming the wreaths over Mil Muertes' head. Puma then drags a casket. Instead of bringing Muertes over to the casket, he drags the fucking casket, which he was struggling with. And while all this is happening, Katrina is reviving Mil Muertes on the outside with her medallion. He gets up, power bombs Puma on top of the fucking casket, pretty much caving in the casket door. So, You're not gonna see that type of shit in WWE, man. They got those big wooden caskets, you know those old school Undertaker caskets, those double wide, double deep caskets. These are fucking caskets, man. Realistic caskets, and they used it as a fucking weapon. So that was different from what I am normally seeing in WWE. So Puma gets powerbombed on top of the casket. Muertes then gets the table, sets it up in the ring, throws Puma in the ring, grabs a steel chair. Muertes beats down Puma with the chair. Then he sets up the chair in the corner. Muertes tries to throw Puma into the steel chair, but he counters it, and Mil goes into it. Muertes recovers quickly and then spears Puma through a fucking table that was set up there. Exploded the fucking table. That's what you call a spear, Bill. Seriously, Puma was fucking cut in half by the beast known as Mil Muertes, man. So that was fucking unbelievable. Back and forth. Mil starts ripping off the bottom turnbuckle. The bottom rope is fucking destroyed. It's laying in the middle of the ring. There's no bottom rope now. You only got the fucking top two ropes. He then grabs this screw that holds the rope together, that attached to the rope, and he starts beating Prince Puma down with it. Muertes then now drags a casket over to Prince Puma inside the ring. This guy is so fucking strong. One man dragged this fucking casket from the outside, starts dragging it like it's nothing. And he drags it into the ring, pulls it from the outside into the ring. Puma then starts to fight back. Knocks Muertes down. He falls on top of the casket. Puma then goes off the top rope for a 630 on top of the casket. And he's laying out on top of the casket. At this point, the casket is pretty much destroyed. Puma then opens the casket, attempts to shove Mil Muertes in. He's struggling to do it due to the overwhelming size of Mil Muertes. Puma then slams the casket door on top of Muertes' body. Puma goes for a steel chair, slams Muertes in the head with it. Puma now setting up two tables on the outside. So you know when someone starts setting up and rearranging furniture on the outside and gets interrupted in the process, you know that's going to be used later for a big sequence in the match. So the two tables are standing, you know, vertically on the outside, laying right next to each other. And they go back and forth. And Mil recovers, hits a choke slam on Puma inside the ring. Muertes now opens up the casket, tries to shove Puma back in it again. He can't shut the door. Puma tries to fight desperately out of the casket. He does. Kicks his way out. They trade strikes. Muertes and Puma go back and forth until Muertes eventually hits a flatliner. And Puma counters that by using his hands to break the fall. So he super kicks Muertes down. Both men struggle to get back up. Puma goes to the air, eats a vicious forearm in midair from Mil Muertes. Then Muertes tries to carry Puma over to the casket. Prince Puma breaks free, gets a chair, and then hits several chair shots on Mil Muertes. One over the head, which you won't see in WWE. Prince Puma then drapes Muertes over the two tables at ringside. Muertes was about to fall through the tables. Puma goes to the top rope. Muertes gets up, choke slams Prince Puma through both tables. He is out. Takes him by the throat, off the top, from the ring apron, slams him right through the tables. It is over. Muertes then can't use the caskets in the ring because it's fucking destroyed. He goes to the back. He grabs another fucking casket. A casket that buried Konnan. And Vampiro made everybody well aware that that was the same casket that buried Konnan, and we haven't seen Konnan since. So the casket obviously dragged to the ring. He sets it up on the wheels, sets it up next to Puma, hits a flatliner on Prince Puma on the outside, throws Puma into the casket, shuts the lid. You got the fucking Faces of Death who come out and drag Puma's casket away as the show goes off the air, man. This was a great fucking match. Holy shit chants all over the place. These two men beat the living shit out of each other. Muertes and Catrina after the match kiss and embrace, and all you see is Catrina standing there with her stone in the middle of the ring with a great visual as they go off the air. And Matt Striker presented this as Prince Puma's final match in Lucha Underground. I don't know what that means, but whatever the case may be, we're going to find out soon enough. I'm not sure he's going to make it to Aztec Warfare, but we'll see what happens next week, man. What a match. Great fucking way to end the show tonight. That was your main event, and I enjoyed the fuck out of that match, man. Holy shit, great job by everybody involved and Lucha Underground. Everything else on this show, I really didn't care for, man. Masquerita Sagrada versus Famous B with Brenda. This was a Believers Backlash match. This is where all the fans in the crowd grab an item from home, bring it to the temple, and it's able to be used in this match. We seen a fucking football helmet from one of the local high school teams in the area. We seen a fucking huge bag of popcorn. We seen a football. Anything that you could think of. Ropes. Fucking whatever you guys can fucking imagine. It was in the crowd. But Masquerita Sagrada ended up beating Famous B. It was a fun match, man. You had Dr. Wagner come out. He got involved. You had, it was just wild and crazy, man. It was like a fucking circus. It was really like a fucking circus. And, I enjoyed it, but I really don't care what's going on here. You had Havoc come out and try to save the day. He helped Masquerita Sagrada win this match. And that's what happened. Masquerita Sagrada wins, defeats Famous B by pinfall. Nothing I really care about, man. It was just one of those fun matches. Crowd was into it. It was different, but it was fun and a great way to start the show. But I don't really have much to say about it because I'm really not interested in anything these guys are trying to tell on TV. Then they had a 5-on-5 match. You had Mariposa, Ivelisse, who is gorgeous, by the way. Marty the Moth Martinez, The Mac, and Jeremiah Crane versus Killshot, Dante Fox. Dante Fox is the one who pretty much came back and attacked Killshot. He was the one who wrote that letter that Joey Ryan gave to him a few weeks back. Argenius and Tejano and Cage. This was a 5-on-5 match. The winner of this match actually gains entry into the Aztec Warfare match next week. And then you had Marty the Moth, Mariposa, The Mac, Jeremiah, and Ivelisse won. They defeated Dante Fox, Killshot, Argenius, Tejano, and Cage to qualify for the Aztec Warfare match. The reason why that team won is because Dante Fox fucked over his own partner, Killshot, brainbuster to Killshot, as Marty the Moth went off the top rope and covered him for the pin. 1, 2, 3. That was it. So Dante Fox and Killshot obviously got something going on there. And we'll see what happens. Maybe they are going to be engaged in a one-on-one match. We don't know what's going on there, but that's quite interesting that he fucked over his own team and his own partner at a chance to go into Aztec Warfare and win the Lucha Underground Championship, man. So there's some deep-rooted evil there that he would risk all of that just to get back at Killshot. So it better be worth it, Mr. Fox. It better be worth it, because from me to you, I don't know if it's really worth it. But then again, you got to be staring down Matanza in the end. So who the fuck knows? What the fuck do I know, man? So that's what happened there. Marty the Moth Martinez, Mariposa, The Mac, Jeremiah, and Ivelisse go on to Aztec Warfare. And that was your Lucha Underground. That was your Lucha Underground for November 9th, 2016. NXT, we're going to talk about NXT. We had 2 semifinal tag team matches in the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. We had a contract signing with Nakamura and Samoa Joe, and we had a huge stipulation and a tag team title match added to TakeOver Toronto as well with DIY and the Revival. So it's going to be great to see that match happen again at NXT TakeOver, but there's a lot going on into NXT, man. A lot of stipulations being added to these matches. Let's talk about it. NXT for November 9th. NXT tonight, guys. November 9th, 2016. It was one of those shows again, which I don't mind because it's nice to get away from Full Sail every now and then. You know, to me, we're really spoiled sometimes. You know, Full Sail starts off great at the first couple of set of tapings, and then they die as WWE tapes consecutive weeks back to back to back. They started off in Los Angeles with the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic semifinals. We started off with Gargano and Ciampa versus the Authors of Pain. The crowd was really into it. And we went on through the rest of the show, and we had a women's match, and they were completely dead for an Ember Moon match. So it was on 2 completely different spectrums tonight. And Full Sail, they're great. I don't mind Full Sail. You know, most weeks they're really enthusiastic, but you know, there is some weeks where they're just like, what the fuck, man? Get up off your feet. You paid money to fucking see the show. Give me something. Instead of sitting on your fucking hands and knees and doing nothing. I mean, for Christ's sake, Nakamura came out tonight with Samoa Joe in a great segment, and there wasn't one fucking peep from the crowd. So, just to see that's a little bit odd, but I'm glad that they cut away and gave you glimpses of what happened at these house shows as they built towards NXT TakeOver Toronto. Opening match scene, Gargano and Ciampa versus the Authors of Pain. Great fucking tag team match, man. Obviously, Gargano and Ciampa coming in together at 400 pounds. You have Authors of Pain who are nearing 700 pounds collective. So obviously it was going to be David versus Goliath type match here in the semifinals. And they did a great job at telling this story, man. There were glimpses of Ciampa and Gargano getting the best of both big brothers, man. There was even an instance where Gargano and Ciampa hit their finishing move on the Authors of Pain until Paul Ellering got involved. Paul Ellering, for the first time in this run that the Authors of Pain have been on, poked his nose where it doesn't belong. That is going to have the Authors of Pain in a precarious position at NXT TakeOver Toronto. Paul Ellering and his interference tonight is going to cost Authors of Pain at TakeOver Toronto. I'll talk about that in a second. But in the end, DIY hit their finishing move out of nowhere, with the referee's back turned to the action as he's taking care of Paul Ellering on the outside. The Revival, and no, Scott Dawson was not on crutches, bro. Out of nowhere, underneath the ring, the Revival comes in and fucks over Gargano and Ciampa. They hit a DDT, I believe it was on Gargano on the outside, and they laid him out. And then, obviously, within the ring, you had the Authors of Pain hit their finishing move, the final chapter on Ciampa. 1, 2, 3. It is over. And the Authors of Pain are going on to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Classic. Great fucking match. Great tag team psychology. They really played up the fact that both Gargano and Ciampa are the smaller guys. That fighting mentality, never give up, never die attitude against both guys of the Authors of Pain. And it was just not enough, man. It was just not enough. Akam and Razor fucking found a way to beat the team of Gargano and Ciampa thanks to the Revival, thanks to Paul Ellering. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the simple fact that we seen something different from the Authors of Pain. We seen them with their backs just for a little bit against the wall. And we seen how great a heel team like the Revival could really be, man. They didn't want to give the opportunity to Ciampa and Gargano to beat them in this classic to advance. They said, you know what? We're going to take the cheap way out because we're pricks. And you know what? We're going to let you go one-on-one with the Authors of Pain. We want nothing to do with the Authors of Pain, bro. So, hey, you got it. We're the tag team champions. We don't need this. You know? You want this tournament so bad? There you go. The Authors of Pain are waiting for you. That's exactly what the Revival did, you know, in great heel team fashion. And then they poked their nose in business that doesn't belong to them, and they fucked over Gargano and Ciampa. So now what this means is that we're getting a tag team title match, a takeover, the rematch, and you know what? It's a stipulation. A great one at that. 2 out of 3 falls for the NXT tag team titles. Gargano and Ciampa versus the Revival at NXT TakeOver. That is going to be the match of the evening. Just like it was in Brooklyn, it's going to be the same thing in Toronto. And I am guaranteeing on that night, Gargano and Ciampa are going to be new tag team champions, man. I can't wait. I'm fucking hyped as fuck for that match. And I can't wait to see it. Meanwhile, the Authors of Pain are going on to the finals of the Dusty Classic. They're going to take on the team of either TM61 or Sanity, which happened later on in this show. So, man, great job by everybody involved. And there's a stipulation added to the tag team finals, to the Dusty Classic tag team finals match as well. We'll talk about that in a second. TM61 defeated Sanity, which was very surprising. I mean, Sanity's new on the streets. They're a new stable to get young talent over. And I was surprised at this, man. I thought Sanity was going to win this thing. I thought it was going to be Sanity and Gargano and Ciampa in some weird way. But then you think, you know what, Authors of Pain have been too dominant. You can't really see them lose. I don't see them losing at all right now. TM61, this is going to be a great way to build them up and get their stock a little bit higher in WWE in the tag team division. So, Sawyer Fulton, Alexander Wolf, they take a loss tonight. And TM61 advances. I don't see them getting past the Authors of Pain at all. Going to be a great match. Going to be hyped. But Authors of Pain eventually will win this finals, and they will be crowned the second annual Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament champions. So that's what's going on with that. Due to Paul Ellering's interference, we're going to have a stipulation. William Regal came out on WWE.com and YouTube, on their YouTube channel. TM61 was present with Paul Ellering in William Regal's office. William Regal announced that he doesn't want Paul Ellering in this match to interfere. So, before he even uttered anything, Paul Ellering was like, if you're going to ban me from ringside, you're going to hear from my lawyers. So what they're going to do is, Ellering's going to be at ringside, but he's going to be suspended in a steel cage above the ring so that he doesn't interfere. So it's going to be Akam and Razor by themselves against TM61. Can they defeat TM61 at NXT TakeOver? I think so. I think they're going to do it convincingly, and then the Authors of Pain are going to win this entire tournament. Ember Moon versus Rachel Evers. Ember Moon with a quick victory with the Total Eclipse, Lunar Eclipse off the top rope. That Stone Cold Stunner off the top rope, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way. And they really hyped up, did Phillips and Graves, that Ember Moon has been hot. She's been on a roll. She's got momentum. She's definitely going to be looking at the winner of Mickie James versus Asuka at NXT TakeOver, and that's exactly where they are going. Ember Moon's going to be built up as the next one to take down Asuka. She eventually will. It's going to happen during WrestleMania weekend. That is my prediction. Ember Moon is going to be the future of the NXT Women's Division. You are seeing it now. Slow burn. It's going to happen at WrestleMania. Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe. Contract signing. This was fucking phenomenal. And it has to do with Samoa Joe. Shinsuke Nakamura is in the ring with the NXT Championship. Surrounding him is 6 guards. William Regal is in the ring. Table laid out with the contract on top of the table. So obviously Samoa Joe comes out. He comes out with a microphone, standing at the top of the ramp. He goes to the back. He grabs his own table with a black cloth and a fold-up steel chair. He's sitting at the top of the ramp. He's like, Regal, we're going to do this my way. I'm not getting in your ring with your guards and that lunatic Shinsuke Nakamura. Bring me the contract now. Bring me the contract to this table. William Regal very hesitant. Samoa Joe playing a fucking dastardly, dick-like heel. Fucking phenomenal in his role. He continues to berate William Regal. Bring me the contract now. Even makes fun of his accent. So Samoa Joe eventually gets the contract. He signs it. And he goes to hand it to Regal. And then he just drops it. And total disrespect for William Regal. Regal walks right up to the ramp. Or right down the ramp, I should say. Back into the ring. Nakamura looking at the contract. Looking at Joe. He doesn't sign it. He drops it in the ring. Remember those 6 guards that were surrounding Shinsuke Nakamura? He beats the shit out of every one of them. The last one, he power bombs through a fucking table. He takes the contract, signs the contract, throws it on top of the fucking guy who he just power bombed through the table. Contract is signed. Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, NXT TakeOver Toronto. Going to be fucking great. And I can't wait. Vince! Mr. Dunn! Hey, Kevin Dunn! That's how you build a fucking championship match, bro. Because I know when these two guys get their hands on one another at NXT TakeOver, it is going to be fucking volcanic. It is going to be unbelievable, man. I can't wait to see what these two guys have in store for us. It is going to be better than what they did in Brooklyn. It is going to be unbelievable. And this is a different side of Nakamura we haven't seen in WWE yet, man. This is a serious Nakamura. He's not the fun-loving, smiling, enthusiastic Nakamura that we're used to seeing so far in his NXT WWE run. This is serious Nakamura. This is the NXT champion. And this is a Nakamura that feels slighted and disrespected by Samoa Joe. And he's going to unleash hell on Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe is going to take it and receive it and give it right back to Nakamura, man. Going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait for it. NXT TakeOver Toronto. 2 weeks away. And I can't wait. Actually, what is it? We're probably like a week and a half away. Can't wait to see it, man. Going to be unbelievable. And that's going to be on the WWE Network. I'm going to do an official review for you guys, as always, that weekend for Survivor Series. Going to be a big week. So stick it right here to the channel. That is everything, guys. Thank you so much. That is your Lucha Underground and NXT review for November 9th, 2016. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, man. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but they're not recommending my channel for videos, and they're not recommending the channel to you guys for watch now on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. Hasn't been any growth as of late for whatever reason, but if you're new, man, hit that subscribe button. I review Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Lucha Underground. We got Off the Script, the #1 fucking podcast in professional wrestling right here on YouTube.com every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I got random news stories on pay-per-view weekends, preview and predictions, reviews after every pay-per-view, WWE 2K17 content, my career, Universe Mode tomorrow, live on YouTube Gaming. I got a ton of shit going on, so make sure you guys are tuned in to what I got going on right here, man. Ton of content daily, all week long. Hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next week right here for more Lucha and NXT coverage, and I'll see you guys on Friday for Off the Script. Until then, I'm JD. Have a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Universe Mode, episode number 5, WWE 2K17. Talk to you later.